Up+Adam.
Tractor systems are offline.
We are Beyond FM.
Beyond FM.
The future of broadcasting is here.
Up+Adam with Adam Montiel. It's community content from Concentrate. It's Up+Adam with Adam Montiel.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Yes, some say life is just where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
Happy Thursday, and thank you so much for being Up+Adam. My name is Adam Montiel. You know, sometimes a story from history stops feeling like history and starts feeling like a mirror. Today on Up+Adam, we're welcoming actor Rob Morrow, best known for his iconic role as Dr. Joel Fleischman on the show Northern Exposure, a character that turned a young, struggling actor into one of television's most beloved faces. And since then, he's been smashing it, just killing it in Hollywood. You know, whether you hear about him or not from Numbers, this or that, from that breakout role. But again, remember that movie Numbers? Directing some of television's most respected shows. This guy has built a career that's quietly become one of Hollywood's most enduring success stories. Now he's co-starring in this new limited series called The Grey House. It's a powerful Civil War drama, executive produced by Kevin Costner and Morgan Freeman, about four women who secretly built an espionage network inside Confederate territory. The series uncovers a story that history largely kind of left out of the books, and Morrow tells us that the themes of division, courage, humanity, they feel strikingly relevant to today. That's definitely something that I got out of this. Later in the show, we're going to also talk about the strange surprise of fame after the show Northern Exposure, which I'm sure you remember, the tricky double-edged sword of success and why staying viable. What does that mean? Might be the real secret to longevity in Hollywood. Great conversation coming up just a few minutes from now. Actor Rob Morrow going to be Up+Adam. I'm stoked. Before that, you might have woken up feeling a little bit blown around, or the front yard does. Strong winds continuing from yesterday. Some gusts still pushing 30 miles an hour or more around SoCal. Worst of it blew through overnight, but expect a really breezy day out there, especially if you're heading through open areas and passes. The wind coming from the north, which means today might feel a little cooler, even though the sky is basically, perfect. Sunny, blue, classic Central Coast postcard weather. But here's the turn. A little blast of wind, basically just the opening act. By the weekend, temperatures start climbing again, with some spots expected to push into the 80s by the end of the weekend. And looking even further out, that pattern stays pretty friendly. Warmer than normal temps, dry conditions expected to stick around through the middle of March. So today, hold on to your hat, but by Sunday, it's going to feel a little bit more like early summer than early March here on the Central Coast. Also, a little cautionary on the roadways today. If you're driving 41 west of Atascadero to the coast, you're going to want to build in a little extra time. Caltrans cleaning up damage from the winter storms, including a large tree that was knocked down during the recent rains. And that means traffic control going to be in play until 2:30 p.m. today. Drivers in both directions on Highway 41 will run into one-way reversing traffic control as crews work along about a 2-mile stretch of road between Cerro Alto Campground and Toro Creek Road. That tree resting near the shoulder, crews need time to chop it up and clear it out. Caltrans says message boards and signs, they're already out there warning drivers what's ahead. Bottom line, if Highway 1 is part of your routine today, expect a little bit of delay and maybe give yourself a few extra minutes to get where you're going. All right, before we get into our chat with Rob Morrow, all right, let's talk about it, baby. Once you try a bidet, it is over. You're converted. You're spoiled. You can't unknow what clean actually feels like. And you and I are going there because we're tight, we're close, it's all good. But then you travel. See, if you're like me and you got your bidet, you're dependent on it. It's a thing. You can't go back. And then you travel. It's like, what are we doing here? How are we living like this? That's why I am all in on the Traveler from Porta-Bidet. This isn't some sad little water bottle squeezy situation. This thing mounts to the toilet, but no tools, no plumbing, in seconds. Real pressure, real control. 5 levels, 3 modes. You can even fill it with warm water. It's amazing. It's basically bringing your home comfort into a hotel, bathroom, cruise, like wherever you're going. They crushed their Kickstarter. They're shipping. We're officially partnered, which means if you've been bidet curious, I'm giving you permission. Click the link in the show notes, or you can go to adammontiel.com. Travel better, feel better. Stop pretending toughing it out is normal. Be clean, feel good. You're welcome.
It's Up and Adam with Adam Montiel.
All right, our next guest, an actor many of us feel like we grew up with. Rob Morrow shot to stardom as Dr. Joel Fleischman on the classic series Northern Exposure, a role that earned him Golden Globe, Emmy noms. But he turned out, that quirky Alaska story turned out to be one of television's most beloved shows, and since then, he's built an incredible career, on screen and behind the camera even, starring in series like Numbers, appearing in films like Quiz Show, directing episodes of major TV hits like Oz, Joan of Arcadia, and CIS. Now he's part of a powerful new limited series called The Grey House, which tells the true story of 4 women who ran a secret espionage network inside the Confederacy during the Civil War. It's executive produced by Kevin Costner, also Morgan Freeman. It's a story really about courage, humanity, and how some of the most important chapters of history are ones that we're still discovering. Rob Morrow, super excited to have you on, man. Now, you are from LA. You ever come up to the Central Coast? You ever come up to SoCal a bit?
Yeah, I've definitely spent some time up there. It's just so beautiful. Beautiful place. You're lucky to live there.
You know, every once in a while, a historical story kind of lands at exactly the right moment where it kind of stops feeling like the past and it starts feeling like a mirror. The Grey House tells the story of women quietly running like this espionage network during the Civil War, risking everything to protect the future of the country. When you read the script, did you go, oh my God, this story needs to be told now? Did the project kind of change the way you personally look at that era of American history?
Well, first of all, I so dig what you're saying. It's really interesting when something comes along that resonates now. That was a story that was, so long ago. When I first read this, I don't think I quite understood the relevancy that it has. And I think since we finished it, it's even taken on more because of the current state of partisan politics in this country. It's profound how relevant it is, and without being a kind of a history lesson, but it does. I love what you said about it, that it holds a mirror up to who we are as people and what conflict amongst civil war means in reality. You see it played out, and yet there's this story has never been told. History tended to be told by men, and so these kind of important female stories were not included in the history books, and they've been unearthed and rediscovered, and they're profound. I mean, what these women did in terms of creating this or using the Underground Railroad network to create a spy network to help the North, is fascinating.
Yeah, there are roles that entertain, and then there's kind of roles that kind of carry historical gravity. When you step into a story rooted in real history like The Grey House, does that kind of change your approach to your character? Do you feel almost a responsibility to the real people behind the story?
Absolutely. You feel you want to get them, you want to do justice by them. You're portraying someone that actually lived, so you want to try to understand as much as you can how they were. This guy Judah Benjamin that I played was full of contradictions. That was fascinating. There's a memoir or a biography on him that I found, and I was able to kind of get some insights into who he was. He was the first U.S. Jewish senator, but he was also a slave owner. So that first thing, I was like, wait, what? He was a slave owner, he was Jewish? That's interesting. And, then he became the Secretary of Defense for the Confederate government, and then the Secretary of State, and considered to be the key, quote, brains strategically for Jefferson Davis. And I was fascinated with who you could almost do a whole movie on that guy alone. And then you just look into wherever I looked in this piece, I was like, wait, who's this guy? The guy, Keith David, has this turn in the second episode that's just mesmerizing. I mean, he should get an award for it. It was a 15-minute monologue. And, the story that he's telling, and there's such humanity in this that I'm so glad to know that it's resonating. People are really responding. It's doing well, and yet they're very smart, the filmmakers, because they have a very modern soundtrack. With Bon Jovi wrote a song, and Killer Mike's in there, and Willie Nelson and Shania Twain. So it kind of bridges the time. So it doesn't feel like you're going. It doesn't feel mothballed or something like that.
Speaking of, modern music, you must have heard it, because I was thinking about this. I'm like, am I the only one? I went on Reddit, and apparently a lot of people are saying this. When is Rob Morrow going to play Bruce Springsteen?
Yeah, it's funny. They said that for a long time. Now, what's his name? Jeremy, the kid from The Bear, did such a great job. I don't know. Maybe I'll play an older Bruce, but he's such an important influence on me. I'm really can't say enough about not just Bruce, the songwriter, musician, performer, but Bruce, the person. I think he's really an amazing human being, and so I'll take that as a compliment.
For sure. Yeah, I know there was actually a thing. You were on the red carpet. You had like a red. It's cool. This really cool jacket. This really cool kind of like maroon hat that kind of matched. And the lights were hitting you in a certain way, and you have these eyes.
Right.
And I'm like, oh shit, that's Bruce. Damn, that looks too much. That's too close.
That's funny.
Let me ask you, you cool with the Northern Exposure question? Like, I got to.
Of course, absolutely.
Not everyone gets a role, Rob, that becomes like a landmark. And honestly, not everyone gets it early. Some actors grind for decades before that moment arrives. For you, Northern Exposure shows up, and suddenly this New York doctor stranded in Alaska becomes one of the most beloved characters on television. Our whole family watched it. When you stepped into Joel Fleischman's shoes, did you have any sense that this character was about to change your life? And did it feel like just another job that slowly turned into something much bigger?
Yeah, I had no idea where it was going. I mean, I was a young actor, struggling, trying to find my way. And when I got the gig, it wasn't a pilot. It was 8 episodes off the bat, which was unusual then. And so all I knew was I was employed for 8 episodes, making what seemed like a fortune. And that's what I knew, and I did know that there was something unique. There was something kind of cinematic about the show that I hadn't seen on TV. And I did know that the character was rich with a lot of dimensions, but I didn't know what it would turn into, not even a hint of that. I think we inure ourselves to those possibilities because you never know. But when it did, it was fascinating when I look back on that. Once it became a big hit, and all of a sudden I was famous and I had money, and influence, and, how that changed me for good and bad. I had to kind of learn, fame is a fickle, it's a tricky, double-edged sword. And so there was that, but I've been watching, Janine Turner and I have a podcast called Northern Disclosure, and we talk about each episode. And so going back and looking at it, it's a timeless show that I was just so blessed to be a part of.
She was so hot.
She's beautiful.
The chemistry, incredible. You've had one of those careers, Rob, that's like quietly immensely impressive. I mean, hit television, films with incredible people, directing major shows, the kind of resume actors, really dream about, but rarely sustain. And I'm curious, like, what is the secret to longevity in this biz? Because Hollywood's famous for, loving on people quickly and then forgetting them just as fast.
Yeah. The trick is staying viable. And that means, doing stuff, I'm not employed at the moment, but I got 10 projects probably, 5 of which are really active that I'm trying to get the green light on. And so I spend my day from the early morning until dinner time developing, working, hustling. And then my creative side, I'm a musician and I'm a writer. And so I'm constantly working. I'm writing a novel right now. I'm writing music with Lisa Loeb.
Love her.
I think all of that creative energy allows for other stuff to kind of happen, So again, it's I hate to reduce it, but it's staying viable. And loving what you do. Most of us would do it for free. And so I'll do a little play in a little theater that no one's going to know about, but it fulfills me. And that, I think, helps me stay relevant.
You've directed shows like, God, I loved Oz, NCIS, New Orleans, Joan of Arcadia. I mean, it's a different seat at the table. How did becoming a director change the way you saw acting? And did it make you more generous as a performer, or maybe even more demanding of yourself?
More generous. It became, I remember, because when I was a young idealistic, actor, I would give directors a hard time sometimes. And, as soon as I directed and realized what a director has to go through to get everything ready, I became, one of the easiest actors to, I'm a cakewalk for directors because I'm prepared and I know that they're the ones who have to make the decision. So I've learned that. And, it's, I just kind of hand myself over to the directors because I know what it takes. But directing is completely antithetical to acting. It's the opposite. Acting is like being a kid. Everyone takes care of you. Do you need anything? Do you want a nap? Do you want something to eat? And directing is, you better get this done by 6 o'clock, otherwise you're in trouble.
Right. Rob, it was so much fun to talk to. Can't thank you enough. The Great House, all the links in the show notes. Rob Morrow, man, you made my day, man. This is so special. Thanks for being Up and Adam.
Oh, you're so kind. Thank you.
Some say life's where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
Fun chat. Thanks, Rob Morrow, for being Up and Adam. All the links in the show notes to the Great House, everything, Rob. Really appreciate that chat. All right. Warm. It's getting warm. Sunny, beautiful, gorgeous outside. Windy today, but I'll tell you, by the end of the weekend, by the time we hit Sunday, we're going to be seeing temps in the 80s. Just gorgeous. Tomorrow, we're going to have a special guest, Rob Rossi. We had him on before, but the Fremont is having some real drama right now. Is it open? Is it shut? We told you about, just found out my friends Brass Smash had their concert canceled. Everything is canceled at the Fremont because of the sign issues from the last storm. I don't know what's going on, but we're going to find out. Rob Rossi actually rang me up yesterday and said, hey, a lot of people are asking questions. I can't even go out without people stopping me and go, what's going on with the Fremont? What's going on with the Fremont? Here's the problem when you own everything, Rob. So we're going to chat with Rob Rossi. He's going to be Up and Adam, and we're going to get the definitive word from him. What is going on with the Fremont Theater? Is it going to close? Is it going to be closed for a long time? What's the city saying? What's the city mandating? And what do the owners of the Fremont say? We're talking about a building that was, in the 40s. We're talking the 40s here. We're talking an 80-year-old building almost, maybe over. So what's the deal? Well, we're going to get the deal. Tomorrow, we'll have Rob Rossi on the show, breaking it down with the Fremont Theater and what the haps are. Exclusively right here on Up and Adam. He ain't going to the Tribune. He ain't going to TV. He's coming right here. I love that. Very fortunate for that. Thank you so much for making a community. Because of you, or these big community leaders come here first. They call us to put these things out there. That's real local community media. It's because of you. So thank you so much. I want to thank our friends Moonshiner Collective for being Up and Adam. Original music on this show, it's called Start Again. Check them out March 20th, performing live Slow Brew Rock. Get your tickets, moonshinercollective.com. Also, Josh and Chiasa Clapper, my friends from Timbre Winery. Wine you want to listen to. That is their event happening on Sunday. Looking forward to seeing you out there, 2 to 4 p.m., completely free 99. You got to check it out. They do want folks to RSVP. We've put links in the show notes there as well. But we'd love to see you out there. And then we had on the gals from the Untamed Dinner. Still, I think there's a couple tickets left for that. AtHerTable.com is the website. I'll be out there hosting that evening, this Sunday evening at Ella's Vineyard, an incredible 5-course dinner with Chef Katie Prescott of 805 Coastal Kitchen for At Her Table. Great conversation with the gals yesterday. If you didn't listen to that episode, I encourage you to. All right, till tomorrow. I hope you have a wonderful day. We're going to break some news about the Fremont Theater tomorrow, so make sure you tune back in. Till then, don't blow away. Yeah, don't lose your hat today. I'm Adam Montiel. Appreciate you. Love you. Thank you for being Up and Adam.
Some say life's where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again. Let's start again. We'll start again. Let's start